Your body has so much to go through postpartum.
There's such a chemistry connection between your emotions, the child. It's kind of the cruelest thing.
The sudden realization that I had a baby that I had to keep alive.
So postpartum blues are experienced by a lot of women. I would say the majority of women. Estimates range from 50% to 85%. And when I speak to my patients about it, it's really when they go home, days 4, 5, and 6 that are really tough. If it's just blues, people will be feeling like they're turning a corner by day 14. And if you're not, sometimes you're meeting criteria for postpartum depression or anxiety. I find that postpartum anxiety in my practice is a lot more common than really clear postpartum depression. There's been a little bit of a shift in how people define this. We used to call the full spectrum of postpartum mood disorders postpartum depression. Now there's more of a focus on just defining it more as postpartum anxiety or postpartum depression. It's definitely on a spectrum.
Postpartum anxiety is one of the most common and undiagnosed conditions that women will experience in their entire life. It's started after a baby is born, and moms will experience an undue amount of stress and anxiety about generally how their baby is doing, but also whether they can go and run their errands. It affects their sleep, their ability to eat, their desires to connect with their partner. It manifests in many different forms, but when it comes to anxiety, what's most important is to address how it's affecting their ability to function. Postpartum anxiety can be mild, moderate to severe, and sometimes that can be very difficult to discern from the typical baby blues. Some parents will experience mood changes after a baby's born, and those will regulate with time as they get into a rhythm with their baby's feeding patterns, their sleeping patterns, and their behavioral patterns. But sometimes it doesn't line up that way.
What we see immediately postpartum is that you have a huge change in your hormonal state. Like your placenta is making a crazy amount of progesterone, and then it's just gone. And so the way that people process that is really different. Some people feel fine, and other people feel randomly weepy. Some people feel just more emotional. They might look at a poster and think it's so beautiful that they tear up. And so it's just this huge spectrum of how it can be. 100% someone can continue to breastfeed if they have postpartum anxiety and depression, and it can actually help with bonding and mood if you're able to do that.
So if you're a mom who's dealing with a postpartum mood disorder and it's been determined that you need to be on an antidepressant, it's important to note that you can still breastfeed, but it depends on which antidepressant you're taking. You want to consult with your therapist and your OBGYN to figure out the best solution.
There's a lot of different ways you can deal with it, but I think the bottom line is nothing is wrong, and whatever serves you in being a mom, whether it is continuing to breastfeed or not, is fine.